So, Cuba is getting a new president after 12 years of Raul Castro, who took over from his more famous brother. The island nation has had 60 years of Castro rule. Raul will retain some power, I understand. He isn't retiring yet, despite the fact he's 86 years young. I would think that for many Cubans suffering in economic hardship, this is simply seen as a changing of the guard. It probably won't change things significantly, but it could well shake things up in a few unexpected ways. You never know. But this new president, the likely man anyway, is Miguel Diaz-Canel. Maybe some Cubans in recent years have gotten little tastes of freedom, like being able to own property or a mobile phone. A few small businesses have sprung up in some sectors. But of course, dissent against the communist government is still a big no-no. Cuba does quite well with tourism these days. Yeah, naturally speaking, it's a very beautiful place. I've heard a few people here in the UK who've been over there. Yeah, they rave about Havana as a top place for a vacation. I don't get why they have this dual currency system, though. How does that benefit their economy? I don't get it. Economically, Cuba, it's stagnating, no doubt, due to the Soviet-style central planning model. It's not that people are incapable of learning from the mistakes of history. It seems like a lot of the time there's a pig-headed, ideologically entrenched refusal to recognize, to acknowledge bad ways of doing things, to put it simply. Arrogance and pride come into the equation. Yeah. Raul Castro has praised his successor's, quote, ideological firmness. So yeah, read into that what you will. Diaz-Canel, who would have been born after the revolution, after the overthrowing of Batista, he's a man who's worked his way up the ranks of the Young Communist League and climbed the ranks of the party. Now he's set to be president, the leader of a one-party Marxist-Leninist state. You do look at some statistics on Cuba and think, hey, looking good. Decent levels of healthcare and education. Decent life expectancy. You have to say, yes, they must be doing certain things the right way. Or the left way, should I say. But the country has a horrible human rights record. All the typical things you will find in a dictatorship, whether it be right-wing nationalist or communist. By typical things, I mean, of course, extrajudicial killings, torture, denials of free assembly and association, censorship and intimidation of those who go against the party line, and imprisonment for political offences. The scale of the abuses in Cuba might not come close to where they are in some other tyrant state, but they are abuses all the same, ruining people's lives. So whatever praiseworthy things the Cuban government has done down the decades, it has to be measured against the more what I would call thuggish, gangsterish aspects of its rule. The Castro era is coming to an end, it would seem, but not the rule of the communists. Diaz-Canel is inheriting a mess. What reforms will he try to implement? We shall see.